When you first encounter artificial intelligence capabilities that overlap with your own expertise, something primal activates. The system feels like a competitor entering your territory. If artificial intelligence can write, analyze data, generate code, or create images, what happens to your value as someone who does those things? The instinct to defend, to compete, to prove your superiority over the machine arises automatically. This competitive reflex runs deep. Evolution wired humans to recognize threats to status and resources. Throughout most of history, when someone or something could do what you did, they competed with you for survival resources. Your brain applies this ancient logic to artificial intelligence and reaches an understandable but ultimately counterproductive conclusion. Artificial intelligence represents a threat you must either defeat or flee from. Culture reinforces this competitive framing. Western societies particularly emphasize individual achievement, competitive advantage, and zero-sum thinking about success. We're taught to identify our unique skills and defend them against competitors. We measure worth through comparison and ranking. We frame progress as winning against others rather than creating alongside them. This competitive orientation made sense in contexts of genuine scarcity and limited opportunities, but it fundamentally misconstrues the relationship available between humans and artificial intelligence. The question isn't whether you can outperform artificial intelligence at specific tasks. The question is, what becomes possible when you combine your capacities with artificial intelligence capabilities in genuine collaboration? Effective human-artificial intelligence collaboration creates a relationship unlike anything that existed before. Artificial intelligence brings computational power, pattern recognition across vast datasets, tireless consistency, and the ability to process and generate information at inhuman speed. Humans bring contextual understanding, ethical judgment, creative insight, strategic thinking, and the capacity to recognize what matters beyond what can be measured. Neither party possesses what the other offers. The partnership isn't about dividing labor along neat boundaries. You do this, artificial intelligence does that. Instead, it operates as genuine collaboration where both parties contribute to outcomes that transcend what either could achieve independently. Consider a medical researcher using artificial intelligence to analyze patient data and identify potential treatment patterns. The artificial intelligence can process millions of patient records, recognize correlations across hundreds of variables, and surface patterns no human could detect through manual analysis. But the artificial intelligence cannot understand clinical context, recognize spurious correlations, integrate findings with medical knowledge, or design meaningful experiments to test hypotheses. The researcher provides the medical expertise, clinical judgment, and strategic thinking that transform artificial intelligence-identified patterns into actionable medical insights. Without artificial intelligence, the researcher would never notice certain patterns. Without the researcher, the patterns remain meaningless correlations. Together, they can advance medical understanding in ways impossible for either alone. This dynamic appears across domains. A writer collaborates with artificial intelligence that can research any topic instantly, generate initial drafts, and suggest alternatives, while the writer provides creative vision, audience understanding, and editorial judgment that shapes raw output into compelling communication. An architect partners with artificial intelligence that can generate thousands of design variations and analyze structural requirements while providing aesthetic sensibility, understanding of human experience, and creative direction that guides exploration toward meaningful results. The collaboration succeeds when both parties contribute their distinctive strengths. The pattern holds remarkably consistent. Artificial intelligence handles computational heavy lifting, pattern recognition, and tireless execution, while humans provide wisdom, judgment, creativity, and the contextual understanding that determines what matters. Developing effective human-artificial intelligence partnership requires new skills distinct from both traditional expertise and technical programming. You need to learn how to communicate with artificial intelligence systems, evaluate their outputs, guide iterative refinement, and know when to trust versus override their suggestions. Communication with artificial intelligence differs fundamentally from either human conversation or traditional software interaction. You're not issuing commands to an obedient tool, but you're also not chatting with a peer who shares your context and assumptions. Effective artificial intelligence collaboration requires developing a kind of structured dialogue, providing clear direction while remaining open to unexpected insights, giving sufficient context while avoiding overwhelming detail, being specific about goals while allowing flexibility in approach. This communication skill, often called prompt engineering, but really representing a broader collaborative capacity, improves dramatically with practice. You learn through iteration what level of detail helps versus hinders, when to provide examples versus abstract description, how to course correct when outputs miss the mark, and how to build on partial successes. Equally important is developing critical evaluation capacity. Artificial intelligence outputs range from brilliant to nonsensical, and distinguishing between them requires judgment grounded in domain expertise. You need to recognize when artificial intelligence produces genuinely useful insights versus when it generates plausible-sounding but ultimately hollow content. This evaluation capacity depends on your existing knowledge. Another reason expertise remains valuable rather than obsolete. The iterative dimension of collaboration matters as much as any single interaction. Rarely does artificial intelligence produce exactly what you need on first attempt. But each iteration can get closer as you refine your direction and build on what works. This back and forth resembles working with a talented but inexperienced collaborator who has extraordinary capabilities but needs guidance about context, priorities, and quality standards. Perhaps most importantly, you need to develop intuition about when to trust artificial intelligence outputs and when to override them. Artificial intelligence excels at certain tasks, processing large data sets, identifying patterns, generating variations, maintaining consistency, but fails at others that require genuine understanding, ethical reasoning, or recognition of subtle context. Learning which is which requires experience and judgment. When human expertise combines with artificial intelligence capability through genuine collaboration, something remarkable happens. Your capacity amplifies beyond simple addition. The relationship becomes multiplicative rather than additive. An experienced consultant can handle perhaps 3 major client projects simultaneously, limited by the time required for research, analysis, and deliverable creation. Add artificial intelligence collaboration, handling research, generating initial analyses, drafting reports, and that same consultant might manage 8 or 10 projects while delivering higher quality work on each. The expertise doesn't change, but its application scale transforms. This amplification extends beyond mere productivity. Artificial intelligence partnership can expand the scope of what you can explore and create. A solo entrepreneur who previously needed a team to launch a business can now accomplish much of that work through artificial intelligence collaboration, handling market research, content creation, financial modeling, and operational planning that would have required hiring multiple specialists. The amplification works in both directions. Your expertise makes artificial intelligence vastly more useful. Anyone can access the same artificial intelligence tools, but someone with deep domain knowledge can guide those tools to generate insights and outputs that novices cannot achieve. Your years of experience become the operating system that knows what questions to ask, what outputs to pursue, and how to evaluate results. This creates a powerful dynamic. Artificial intelligence amplifies your expertise, while your expertise amplifies artificial intelligence's utility. The combination produces capabilities neither brings independently. The marketing professional with a decade of experience doesn't just use artificial intelligence faster, they use it better, asking questions and pursuing directions that extract value others miss.